It is the Nintendo Powercast in the morning with a very special guest, the host of Press Pause. What's up, Hate Zero?
Hey, what's going on? It's been a long time coming, but let's do this. What is going on, NPC fam? It is your boy, Hate Zero, your hero.
Oh my goodness, do I love hearing that.
It's been a while.
It has. A couple quick announcements, guys. The new Smash Bros. Tournament is up for registration, n64josh.com/smash, and coming out in the Discord, n64josh.com/discord. We'd love to have you. Now, Hate Zero has a very special announcement, and it's also going to lead into our topic this morning, which is going to be kind of fun. These aren't necessarily going to be news shows. There might be some.
Yeah.
But these are going to be short and sweet. And
they're going to be fun.
And yeah, so I'm going to let you go ahead and share with us your surprise.
Yeah, so to all you NPC famine, throwback for those who know. I am, or my wife rather, I'm not. I've always been kind of confused on the we because it's really the wife. She is expecting child. We're having a baby boy. We found out it's a boy. We're about a little over halfway, 22 weeks this week. So very excited. And in talking to Josh a little bit, we were talking about just how cool it is to be able to raise your kid and offer them, Mario and Nintendo, which is, what we all kind of grew up with. And it's just such a neat feeling to have something you loved still matter, right? Like some of the other stuff have come and gone that we cared about as kids, but not Mario.
Yeah, and you're planning on naming him Mario, right? If I remember.
I'll give you guys his name. It is a video game reference, but
it's not Mario Zero.
It's not Mario Zero. No, unfortunately, I should consider Mario as a middle name. So it's a Metal Gear Solid name, but we're going to name the child Raiden, which in Japanese mythology is the god of thunder. So when I first played Metal Gear Solid 2, I was probably 15 or so. I was young man, Hate Zero. I thought, this is the greatest game I've ever played in my life. Like, this is broken video games. And this is the coolest name I've ever heard. And so from that moment on, that name has always just stuck with me. And so I'm really excited to be able to finally pass that on. Maybe Raiden will hate it, but he'll have a middle name. He can go by Sean or whatever he wants to do.
So did you get how'd that work out? You're like, hey babe, I'm really thinking about Metal Gear Solid. Could you do me a solid and we can just
I wore her down. So many years ago, I was like, if we ever have a son, it's gonna be Raiden. She's like, whatever. And I guess I've said that name so many times that it kind of turned into a solid name to her. No pun intended. Like she started to like it. So yeah. So that Raiden is official.
Hey, that's super cool. I love it. So we were texting yesterday talking about this, and you're excited to show the little one Mario.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little different because
how so? Let's hear.
So at the time, the 64 was the system that was out, and GameCube was on the way out. So by the time he was old enough to play, now remember his first word was Nintendo, like his first 3-syllable word, because of Animal Crossing. It would say Nintendo every time it would start.
Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. Real high pitched.
Yeah.
And so I remember him walking by the TV, stopping, looking at it, saying it, and then just kept walking, and we were
Like
just like,
nothing.
yeah, like no big deal.
And
then
you
he
were just
didn't.
mind blown.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, what have I created? And so, but at that time, 3D games were more of what, like, they were just more accessible, right?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I'm sure I had the Super Nintendo. I know I did, but I think at the time I had like I think my mom had most of my games, so I had like
Yeah.
Tetris Attack, right? So it wasn't like here's 2D Mario to check out. And so because of that, he like his first like gaming experience was Halo.
Right. Right.
And I mean, and he was good at it, right? You can remember when he used to
Yeah.
get on the headset and he was like, "I'm kicking butt and taking names," right? And
Yeah.
he was like 4 years old. And and so I didn't like we really didn't have that. Now, as of late, like, you know, he was playing Mario like when right before he moved out a couple months ago. We were playing Mario Kart on the
Mhm.
regular and that kind of stuff, and it's you know it's cool that that's still that's still a thing. So I mean, he's always been gaming, but I mean, you know, you can remember when Halo 2 came out, this kid had like the Christmas rings, like the construction paper
Yeah.
all glued again. He would rip one off every day for the countdown for Halo 2. So like you know, his my he came running out of his room because he saw a spider and he's like, "Mom, I need guns and grenades." And she's like, I don't think we're gonna take care of the spider that way, you know? So and then she
Seems
would
like
talk to
quite the
me like,
escalation.
yeah, she's like, "I don't know that he needs to be playing Halo." I'm like, you know, I mean, we're having fun. So yeah, but now it's a totally different time, right? Like you've got all of the classic games right at your fingertips.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's where I'm not sure, do I start with the classics? Do I start by busting out the NES Classic and just pretending that that's the only games that exist, so the first memory is that game? Or do I, you know, start with the modern stuff, because we have the nostalgia, right? We have the nostalgia for all those older 8-bit, 16-bit, and I think they've aged well. We've all talked about how that generation aged better than the first 32-bit games, or 64. But would a young kid born in, the 20s, the 2020s, sounds weird to say the 20s,
Yeah.
would they care about these old 16 and 8-bit games? I don't know.
Well, so the way we had kids, it was like the two boys, and then there was like a almost like a 3-year break
Mhm.
where we couldn't for some reason couldn't have another one, and then we did, and so the the boys were playing Halo. And don't get me wrong, like I had, you know, once I had I think they had the 64 set up in their room, so they had access to
Yeah.
those games. But then fast forward to the girls, I would come home and immediately be handed a Wii remote to play New Super Mario Bros. Like that was their jam, and it was the first level. I'm like, "Hey, can we progress?" And they're like, "No, the other levels are too hard." Like,
Yeah, we
so,
know this
you
level.
know, at one point I finally took us all the way to World 8, but we never did actually complete that game.
Hmm.
And but it was a daily occurrence of like I'd literally get home from work, you know, doing construction or whatever, dirty, everything. They're just like, here's the I'm like, can I clean? They're like, no, it's Mario time. We've
We've
been
been
waiting all
waiting.
day
Yeah.
to play Mario with you, you know. And those, I mean, that's treasured memory, right?
Yeah.
Like Mario 3D World or Super Mario 3D World. The same thing. I come home from work and my youngest was like, "I'm on Bowser. I can't beat it. We have to do it together." And you know, sat and she had been going hard every time I would come home. I'd look at the living room. Here's this little 6-year-old playing through Mario 3D World because they make the games more accessible for the younger kid. I mean,
Yeah.
we just had to deal with it, right? Like it was like, yeah,
Mhm.
this is just the way it
There
is.
was
These
no
games.
safety bubble, right? Like
No bubble, no like white Tanuki suit that makes you have star
Mhm.
power like the whole time. But that allowed her to play all the way through.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of glad she couldn't beat Bowser, because it gave me the opportunity to sit and finish that with her. And she was so excited that she beat her first game. And it's that game, like, she used to have the little cat ears that she would wear that
Nice.
came with, like, that was like some GameStop swag or something. So
Yeah.
so those kind of memories are what you have to look forward to now.
Yeah.
And
Super exciting.
such a it's just because it's not only the 2D games, like the 16-bit and the 8-bit games. Like, they've continued to make these games accessible. And I know your love for Galaxy, and even just having him point the remote or whatever, and just kind of like start to interact that way. And
Yeah, or even doing, at the time I didn't understand the Cappy mode and why it would be important to me, but now looking back at Odyssey, being able to, me control Mario or vice versa and have Cappy mode. Although Cappy is an important part of that game, and having the wrong person controlling Cappy can make that a very frustrating experience, I'm sure. But it's cool to be able to do that, even if it's not Luigi next to you. It's neat to be able to have.
For sure. So the quest you are now tasked with is what is going to be the first game.
That's a tough one. Yeah, I mean, that's a really tough one because there's Mario Kart 2. If we had access to Double Dash, that would be a great one.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll re-release it at some point, whether it's virtual store or however. But yeah, I'll have to think of it. NPC fam, help me out. What should the first game? I've got a few years, but what
They'll
should
fly
the first
by.
game be? Yeah, they will fly by. Next thing I know, it'll be time. Well, and another thing I was talking to Hang, the wife, about, I get to go to Super Mario World, or Nintendo World now. Super Nintendo World with our little kid. I was looking forward to going by myself at some point. Now I don't have to be that weird middle-aged guy by myself there.
Well, and we were actually talking about it on the stream yesterday, but I'm like tentatively starting to plan a meetup there. So
Nice.
we might have to get all as many of the NPC fam there as possible for.
That would be amazing.
Oh, it would be so much fun. I can't even imagine how much fun that would be. So you never know. And you mentioned Double Dash. I don't know if I've shown you this, but I've recently picked up the Japanese version of Double Dash. So the boxes are so different and much smaller, and some cool graphics and stuff.
And in their cardboard casing.
So it's plastic. There's cardboard around the plastic, and then the instruction manual and the tiny GameCube disc.
Did they do that for all their games? Because they definitely stopped in America.
I believe. For GameCube, I'm pretty sure that's the standard. So
yeah,
it just has to go my Mario Kart shrine. Now, you did mention Mario Kart, and one of the beautiful things about 8 Deluxe is that kid could be born, and that day you could put a Joy-Con next to the pacifier and literally race.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And Nintendo, that's where I love the PlayStation, I love Xbox, but and they've done great things for accessibility. Horizon had crazy, you can customize all sorts of stuff in that game, down to like how much damage you do to a specific part of a machine. So like you can completely tailor the experience. Xbox has great accessibilities, and I think you can do like I think is it console native, to where you can set up like dual controller support, so I can actually be in the background kind of helping control the games. I think it's native to the console. You can set that up. They're doing great things.
Yeah.
But none of them really do it like Nintendo yet. You know what I mean? Like, Nintendo makes games so accessible to kids, and it's the perfect family entertainment system. You know?
It really is. I mean, as we're sitting here kind of talking about the different games, I mean, you got New Super Mario Bros, which is that's incredibly frustrating at times when they're
Mhm.
when they're bouncing off your head or they're not moving, and like they do have to be a little bit older for that one, like probably 4 or 5 or 6 is
Yeah.
probably uh better for that. But like but I mean, yeah, even the thing I find, like when my nephews come up and they're super young, their attention span doesn't last. So
Yeah.
they're like halfway through their first race of Mario Kart, and then they're like, "Can we put in Mario World now?"
Yeah.
And then like they do half a level, they're like, "Can we put in Odyssey?" And then it's the attention span that just it's rough
Well, I
with
think
those
that's a
guys.
casualty. Like, we probably would have been the same way if we had the access these kids have these days, right? Like,
Right.
we had one game until a major US holiday or birthday. Like, that
Yeah.
was it. Like, you would get one game. Basically, you would get 2 games a year back then. You know, if you're lucky. If you were a very fortunate child, you would get one for your birthday and one for Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, that was what you had to look forward to. And you had
Yeah.
to play that game or those 2 games for the rest of the year. So you better choose wisely.
Right. I was literally driving home from my daughter had stayed the night at my parents' house, and I was showing her how far I used to have to walk to get to the rental store, because there was like right along the freeway. I mean, we're out in the country, but right along the freeway, there's this there was Highway Home Electronics was the name of this store. And I mean, it's probably a good 2, 3, 4 miles from my house, and so 1993, 94, I'm walking with my $5 in hand so I can rent
Mhm.
like the Manhattan Project, or
Yeah.
one of the Turtles games or Street Fighter 2 or something. And she's just like, there's no way. How is that even the first thing she said, how is that even safe? You know?
It was a different time. It was a different time. Although I don't know that it was any better. I think again, it's the information age, right? Like back then, this is getting dark really fast, but back then when kids would disappear, they'd go on milk cartons. Now we have Amber Alerts and all sorts of good stuff set up. So I
Yeah.
yeah, but so another consideration, as much as we all love Mario, I'm looking at getting the arcade one up for Ninja Turtles. Like that's on my list. I'm
Oh,
going
yeah.
to get that. So, and we got the Cowabunga collection coming up.
Yep.
Like maybe Turtles needs to be the first game. And the cartoon, is it the cartoon still going for the new series?
Nickelodeon's keeping it alive, yeah.
So maybe Ninja Turtles are that first thing we share. You know, that's a huge part of my childhood. All the toys, and I mean, obviously you were the same way. So
Yeah, and by that time, there might be a Mortal Kombat collection, you could just start
yeah, just
finish him.
start with fatalities. Hey, if we're playing it on Nintendo, I can turn it into sweat mode, and we'll be fine.
Yes.
We'll be fine. I'm like, is he punching? No, it's just sweat. They're just real tired. They're real sweaty.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, but I mean, that's, and I mean, looking back, I know like there were, like, Animal Crossing did have some of the classic games,
Yeah.
right? So there were some classic games that we played, but I think they could pick up on it even at a young age. They were just like, "Wh- like, why does this one's not nearly as interesting
Yeah.
as,
It's boring.
like GoldenEye or Perfect Dark, or they loved Godzilla, like the fighting
Mhm.
games and I could always hear him fighting because the older brother would do the same move to the younger brother over and over again, and he would be like, "You're cheating!" They're always screaming, "You're cheating!" And it's just, I mean, they still talk about that to this day, like just using the one move, So
Spamming the move.
yeah, and you get the joys of being like, "I'm not letting you win, kid. You got to earn you got to earn this."
Yeah. Everything in life is earned, right?
Yeah,
You gotta get good.
yeah,
Gotta get good. It's
Eh,
it's funny though, because at some point as a parent, they're going to start beating you whether you like it or not. So at that point, do you convince them that you're going easy on them, even though in your heart you're broken because they're better at the game than you are? Like, how do you handle that?
So it was interesting. Like it took it was a motivator for me, honestly. I was
Mhm.
like, I am these kids will not be better at Halo than I am. And like we would have these epic matches. A lot of times it was both of them taking me on.
Mhm.
And like I mean I had a friend who was like $20 anytime somebody came over. He's like, oh, here's $20 to play Josh's son in Halo. If you beat him, you get $20. And he never paid anybody. You know, like he never like Halo 3 hit like Reach, you know, it just
Is this the same
it's,
friend you beat at table tennis with your feet?
it is, yeah, it was Mike. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite. So Rockstar Table Tennis on the 360, which was a phenomenal game and very bizarre for that studio. But Rockstar Table Tennis, we used to play the crap out of, and Josh he had one friend who was just not good, right? Like I
He's
don't
just
think
not a
Mike
huge
wasn't.
gamer, not a
Yeah,
huge gamer. Yeah.
and we were all pretty sweaty at that game, but Josh was exceptional. So knowing the mechanics, he beat Mike with his feet.
You could just use the sticks. You didn't have to.
Yeah,
It was just the two. So I literally, we played, and then like texting was relatively like kind of new back then. It was with a
yeah.
flip phone. The pictures were horrible, but I just took a picture of my feet on the controller and sent it. And then it was like, never speak of this to anyone.
Well, now the whole world knows.
It's on the internet forever. So
Yeah,
no, no, and I mean, and honestly, like uh, to kind of close this out here, but like some of my most fond memories are gaming with my dad,
yeah.
right? Like having those memories of playing, like he was really into the sports games, you
Tecmo
know.
Bowl and
So Tecmo Bowl was one,
mhm,
Double Dribble, you
nice.
know. And but what was crazy is not only were those just fun memories, like we would go work on the farm until midnight and then come home, pour a bowl of salsa, and play Mike Tyson's Punch Out, like
Nice.
just taking turns trying to go as far as we could, not struggling with Glass Joe. um,
Nice little jab there.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
you're welcome. You are welcome. So, but also there were some life lessons of like learning not to be a sore loser,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, like he
And how to
wasn't
be a good
always
winner, right? Like
for sure.
you don't gloat and all that when you win. Like I understand if you've been losing for a long time, that first victory you want to, but you have to teach kids how to be a good winner too
Yeah,
in life. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And you're probably absolutely right, right? Like some of those games are probably not your favorites at the time. Like you probably didn't care about Double Dribble as much, but uh the more important thing was just the bonding with pops, right?
yeah,
And so it's super cool. And we're all so busy in life. We're everybody's working. We have information overload. Sometimes you just want to shut the brain down and not do anything. But you have to remember those little moments may be big moments to the little one. So I'm trying to be very mindful of that. Obviously, I haven't even had the kid yet, but just trying to prepare myself that I have to be present. Sometimes all it takes is being present. You don't have to have a plan, just be there.
yeah.
And not just sitting there, but actually be there and engage. So
And it's got me thinking. I really hope there's some kind of NBA Jam uh that's easy access, you know, because
yeah.
I have a feeling that will be a game you would love to he's on fire and
Oh
snapping the
yeah, I'd
backboard at
love it.
the end, you
I
know.
was looking at that arcade one up too. I just don't have space for all these, but I mean those arcade one ups are so cool. Um, but I've got the wife on board with me getting one, and it's gonna live like right behind me right here.
I like it. I like it.
But I think I'm gonna go Turtles. The Turtles
Yeah.
in Time, Turtles arcade cabinet. That it's gorgeous, and those games are so awesome. And it's 4 players, so the whole fam can enjoy it.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this NPC in the morning. Eric, thanks so much for taking the time. Like, just kind of hit us last week as we were recording Press Pause, which you guys can go check out on all the places. But I was like, yo, since we're doing these in the morning, there'll be shorter shows. let's get you back. We'll talk some
Yeah.
Nintendo. So, and we are still kind of brainstorming like what the format of this show should be. So hit us up in Discord, help us get some ideas flowing, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.